Hello, it has been some time since I sat down and filmed a video. Life's just been kicking my ass recently. My dissertation's due in just over 2 weeks, so I've been working my way through that and just haven't been reading at all really. And yeah, I haven't really been doing much of anything other than just like watching TV, which I don't normally do a lot of. It's only like when I'm really finding it difficult to just sit down and do things. I think the last vlog I tried filming 30 books in 30 days video in June, and then my son went into hospital in the middle of it, and that kind of like derailed everything, not just the video but just, you know, life. It sucked. He's fine, but it sucked. And yeah, I just didn't really go back to filming after that, and yeah, like I said, didn't really read anything. But August is Women in Translation month. My dissertation is finished. I'm still kind of stressed about it, but I finished writing it. I'm just in like the editing stages and just trying to make it as good as it can be. I also have a lot of like interviews coming up this month, which is really good for me, and I'm glad I'm in that position, but also kind of terrified because I haven't had a proper 9-to-5 job since I left my job 3 years ago, and I became a carer to my son and started my masters at the same time. But yeah, it's nice to be getting invited to interview, but it's also a lot because I have a lot on. Like, my son's just in the middle of his summer holidays now, so he's not at school at all, so I'm kind of, yeah, just a bit all over the place. But yeah, August is Women in Translation month, and my son's going back to school the week after next, and I think I'll have a bit of time because, like I said, I'm just editing, so I want to try and read some more and get through some of the translations on my TBR. So I thought I'd do like a kind of provisional, like, this is what I might like to read. I probably won't stick to it entirely, but these are the books I'm thinking of reading. The book I still haven't read, even though I bought it when it came out in its English translation. This is Siblings by Brigitte Reimann. I think this is Katie Derbyshire? No, Lucy Jones translated this. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this. It's a piece of classic German or East German literature that I've wanted to read for a while, and it's been really hard for me to get hold of it in German. So yeah, I was just looking forward to reading it, even though it is in English and I would prefer to read it in German. It's just, this is a copy I have and it's the easiest one to get hold of. I want to read The Door by Magda Szabó. I'm gonna figure out how to pronounce that if I talk about it more. This is Hungarian and it's translated by Len Rix, and I don't really know anything about this other than it's a classic piece of Hungarian literature that I've been wanting to read for a long time, so I will try and give that one a shot. And the other one I have in a physical copy is Holiday Heart by Margarita Garcia Robayo, translated from the Spanish by Charlotte Coombe. Love that Charco Press have the translator on the cover, just like so good to see that. This is I've had this for years and I've been meaning to read it for years. I mentioned it in my Books That Intimidate Me video. It's about a couple who are Colombian immigrants sort of trying to make a life for themselves in Miami, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I loved Fish Soup by the same author a couple of years ago, so my chair keeps falling back and it's terrifying me every time, even though I'm not going to tip. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this and I can't believe I haven't read it yet. And I have a book I'm in the middle of, and that's A Decolonial Feminism. I will put the picture here of the cover. This is really good. I like all the Pluto Press titles in this edition, but this is really just a sort of exploration of like feminism in the global south and how the global south has been like eradicated from discussions about gender equality, and you know, the perils of doing that, not just in terms of like gender inequality but like other forms of inequality as well. It's really good, really accessible, and I would highly recommend it. This is translated from French, I think, but I can't remember the translator because I don't have the physical copy, but I'll leave it in the description and talk to you a bit more about it when I've finished, because I'm only sort of part of the way through. I'm also in the middle of reading Sugar Baby by Celine St. Clair and listening to this on audio. This isn't a piece of translated fiction, at least not to me because I'm reading it in English, but this is about a young girl who is just kind of stuck in like a dead-end cleaning job with her mum. Like all her friends from school have kind of gone off to do other things and she's a bit of a laughing stock, and her best friend, she sort of like really got the impression that she's just kind of hanging on to the friendship out of pity. And her mum is really very religious and overprotective of her and quite abusive in the way that she sort of tries to implement what she thinks are like things that will protect her daughter. She's, yeah, it's just very much like showing into abuse territory, and she's not granted very much freedom to, you know, even things like put makeup on or go out after a certain time, despite the fact that Agnes, our protagonist, is like in her mid-20s. And Agnes is cleaning for one of her clients and ends up meeting her daughter Emily, who's like very like well-to-do white girl who sort of takes Agnes under her wing a little bit and introduces her to the world of sugaring, whereby she will just introduce her to all the clients she has, so like very, very rich men who just want to pay, or ostensibly just want to pay for some company, but then as the novel progresses we see that they're kind of after a bit more than just company, and it's just like Agnes choosing to get into this world and also kind of be a bit manipulated by Emily and this group of friends. There's definitely a very unequal power dynamic between them, and yeah, it's really funny, very readable, very well written, and I recommend it for fans of I'm a Fan and Boy Parts, I think. The two books, like they're not really similar in like the themes that they're covering, not massively similar, but like if you liked that kind of writing style, I think you will like this too. Sex scenes are really good. I normally hate sex in books just because I find it really cringe, but I think Celine St. Clair manages to make the sex scenes seem like very like gross and a bit grim, but also not disgusting. I don't know how to explain it, but like I think they're really well done. They're not like sexy sex scenes, they're kind of meant to be a bit gross, but like they're not like repulsive to read, if that makes sense. I think it's really well done, and yeah, I'm really excited to carry on listening to it, so I think I'll finish that first and then move on to, yeah, some of the other books on my list. I'll probably end up filming this over the course of most of the month. I had hoped to just do it this weekend because I have a weekend to myself at home, but I'm just really tired and I have a lot to do, like in terms of like cleaning and just resting. Like I just want to sleep. I think I'm gonna go out to get some lunch in a second and then just crash on the sofa for a bit. So yeah, hopefully this will be an interesting vlog. It's kind of weird coming back to it. Feel very out of practice with it, and yeah, I'm gonna leave it there because I'm rambling now, but I will see you in the next clip once I've done some more reading. So sorry for this angle, sorry for my appearance, and sorry for the sound of the washing machine. I just wanted to give a quick update. I haven't done an awful lot of reading, to be honest, just because, like I said, I have dissertation due in less than a week, and I'm just in the editing stages of that, so not much reading has been done. I've got about an hour left on audio, I think, of Sugar Baby. I'm really enjoying it. Can't get enough of it. I wish I hadn't listened to it on audio, not because I'm not enjoying the production, I think it's really good, it's just I don't get a lot of time to listen to audio because I'm kind of like working through the day, and then my son gets home from school and I don't want to just like sit and listen to an audiobook. Like I can sit and read my book while he's just playing with his toys, but yeah, it just feels a bit like I feel like a terrible parent to just sit there with my headphones in while he's home because I want to talk to him. So yeah, I've got about an hour left of that and really enjoying it, and I just really want to finish it. I'm going to try and do that tonight, maybe when I'm cooking and like doing dishes and stuff. I'll finish that off tonight. I haven't read any more of a Decolonial Feminism, I don't think, and that's partly because it's non-fiction and I'm sort of reading as like an escape at the moment rather than to learn anything, and also because it links in a lot with sort of what I'm writing about in my dissertation, so I just don't want any more information. Like I'm working with what I've got, I cannot deal with any more information, and I know when I'm reading that I'll just be like, oh, that's a really interesting point, I want to write about that, and I don't have the time to do that. I'm just working with what I've got. I can't be adding anything new into the mix. And yeah, the other book that I have started reading is The Door by Magda Szabó. I'm gonna learn how to pronounce that properly. I'm just under halfway through this, I think, and I love this. I can already tell this is going to be one of my favourite books of the year. It's very much like a no plot, just vibes kind of book. It's set, I think, sort of, from what I understand, it's sort of in a post Second World War Hungary, but kind of between like the 60s and the 80s, that kind of period, and we follow a young writer who has introduced a housekeeper, an elderly housekeeper called Emerence, into her home, and they form just a very unlikely bond. Emerence is this very prickly character. She's very set in her ways and she's quite rude and I guess quite brash a lot of the time. Like she just says what's on her mind and she doesn't give a shit about anybody else, and I think just sort of very, like, should be very unlikable as a person, but I just have fallen in love with her, and our main character does too. She's very unsure of her at first, and their relationship is very volatile. Like they have these like very explosive rows and they treat each other with a lot of disrespect at times, and at times they do things that they don't realise is going to upset the other one, and it's just a very, like, to an outsider it's quite a strange relationship, but they have really fallen into this routine with each other and they know each other very well and they obviously very deeply care for each other, and it's just a story about their relationship. But yeah, I really love it. Don't love, like, there's a lot of animal abuse in this, which I don't love reading about. It's not like the author's sort of condoning that, it's just like that happens as part of the book, and I'm not a huge fan. There is a fairly graphic scene of suicide as well in this, which is fine for me to read, but I think at certain points maybe wouldn't be okay for me to read, so it's just something to like keep in mind. But yeah, if you don't like a plot, you'll hate this, but if you're the kind of person that just loves a really sort of deep character study and obviously beautiful writing, Len Rix has done a really good job of translating this. It's so good. I'm in love with it, and like I said, probably going to be one of my favourite books of the year, and I can't wait to carry on reading this tonight when I've finished all my work. So I have now finished The Door. I loved it. This is one of the best books, not just this year, but like the best books I've ever read. So good. I think I read about 50% physically, and then I switched to the audio just because I had some stuff to do. And I ended up like whizzing through the audio. I listened to it in, I think the final 50% took me about 24 hours to finish. This was stunning. Let me hold up again. Such a stunning book. It's definitely one for the no plot, just vibes girlies. Nothing ever really happens. We are just following the writer. You sort of find out towards the end, this isn't a spoiler, but because this is a fictionalized version of the author's own relationship with her housekeeper. So the young writer in this is also called Magda, and her housekeeper, who is actually, you pronounce it Emerence, I think I learned from the audio. So yeah, it's their very volatile, very human relationship, and it just shattered me. So devastating. This is one of the saddest books I've ever read. But the character development, just everything, it's such a quiet book, but it really packs a punch for just being so slow, I suppose. Slow, quiet, a little bit unsettling, I would say. And I mentioned earlier in this vlog that there's some animal abuse in there, and that carries on, and it's not great. And yeah, I didn't like reading about that, but love the story. The melodrama, oh, just, I can't rave about this enough, and I really want to read more of Magda Szabó's work because this just absolutely floored me. I also finished reading Sugar Baby by Celine Sinclair. Is it Celine? I'm not sure. I don't have the physical copy. I think it's Celine. But yeah, I really like that one. The Door was a 5-star, and Sugar Baby was also a 5-star. Very different books, but really enjoyed both of them. Yeah, the protagonist of Sugar Baby, Agnes, was just a character where you're just in constant despair and just being like, oh, please do not do that, Agnes, and just really wishing that she could sort of see herself in the way that others see her. It deals a lot with religious trauma, and yeah, it's just really good. Very funny. I laughed out loud multiple times in it, and I'd highly recommend that one. I haven't read any more of a Decolonial Feminism, just because I'm not sure if I've mentioned I finished my masters. I handed my dissertation in, which is really exciting. I've been celebrating just with like some swimming and just taking it easy, so I haven't read anything that's taxing, but I will go back to that because I was really enjoying it. And I also finished reading The Favour by Nicci French, which I listened to on audio, and I think this is Nicci French's newest release, and I thought it was really bad. I love Nicci French. I love the Free Decline series, and I've read a couple of others that I liked. This is just, yeah, I thought it was really poor. We follow a character called Jude who is in a really sort of consuming teenage relationship just before she leaves for university, and that sort of fizzles out and she never has any contact with him again, but she's always thinking about him, and it's always like one of those like want to go away and like what if moments. But we fast forward to the present day, and she is working as a geriatric doctor, and she is about to get married and about to buy a house, and seemingly has this very happy life. And one day this former boyfriend turns up at her work and tells her he needs a favour from her, and from there she becomes embroiled in this like murder investigation, and it was really obvious who had committed the murder, and it was kind of obvious why as well. It was obvious as well to me like why she did this favour for the boyfriend, because he sort of asks her to drive to this rural cottage and not tell anybody where she's going and take his bank card and everything, and it's like clear that she's going to be giving him an alibi for something. And from something that happens very early on in the book, it's like, oh, it's really obvious why she's doing this favour for him, because no sane person would do that just out of the goodness of their heart. She's clearly trying to repay him for something, and like worked out really quickly what that was. And yeah, I thought the writing was really good, actually. The writing was really good, but the characters were all just like, I don't mind an unlikable character, I don't have to root for a character, but normally, like if I use the example of Frida Klein, I don't like her very much as a character. I think she's really difficult to get on with, but she's interesting enough that you want to keep reading about her and you are kind of rooting for her, despite sort of not really gelling with her, I suppose. But Jude was just like, she's just really boring and weak and unlikable, and yeah, I just didn't care for her at all. I didn't care for anybody in this book, so yeah, that was a 2-star unfortunately, but I will definitely continue reading Nikki French. That was just a bit of a flop for me. And yeah, that's everything that I've been reading, so I'm going to end this vlog now. It's sort of 28th of August, so we're heading sort of into the end of August. I had hoped to read more for Women in Translation month, but it's been busy, and yeah, I just want to take it easy, get this vlog up, and then I'll start doing some more vlogs for September, like getting into more like autumnal reading, which I'm really excited about. I was offered a job on Friday, which is exciting, but I also have 8 more interviews scheduled for next week, or this week and next week, so yeah, not sure what I'm going to do at the moment, but that's really exciting. So I'll be starting work hopefully very soon, so I'm going to have a lot less time for videos, but hopefully I can just use the next month or so. So I'm hoping not to start any new job until at least October, so hopefully I'll have a month or so to just, yeah, do a bit more YouTube stuff and do a bit more reading, and yeah, that should be lots of fun. So I am gonna go now and edit this video and edit all the sort of random assortment of clips that I've got in absence of like actual substance. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in another video soon. Tell me down below what you've been reading for Women in Translation month, and yeah, see you soon, bye.